speaking of those that specific tanking situation, that'll change us into a different type of topic about the lottery changes that have been actually officially discussed. Shams reported that the NBA announced major anti-tanking rules within the next season. Um, First initial thoughts is just that like I'm kind of glad that they are trying to fight anti-tanking just because we just don't like to see this type of product and play people like us that like even Dez might buy the league pass. He don't want to see these sorry teams tanking like that's hurting the customers pockets for real. So I'm gonna let you get into it though, Dez, because you was kind of a little bit more strong opinionated on it before we got into this podcast. So what you think about the anti-tanking rules, and do you think these will help? We're gonna get into the full list of what they all discussed, but just your initial thoughts.
Yeah, my initial thoughts on like the anti-tanking stuff is I like that they're like pushing to kind of get rid of tanking, but I think they need to push a little harder. My initial thought was they probably was going to do like, maybe take some draft picks away from teams or something like that. But it's just kind of crazy because I feel like tanking right now is at its worst state. We're seeing like teams with players that's being paid 30, 40, 50 million dollars and they barely playing 20 minutes a game. You know what I'm saying? And then you got young players on young teams not playing 20 minutes a game when those young players need that time to develop. So I just feel like tanking is right now at an extreme, and I do like the NBA is kind of making that a focal point that we need to kind of get away from that because it's bad for the business. You know what I'm saying? We paying money to watch these teams play. We coming to watch the stars play or like the teams like the players that's known on those teams. So it's like you can't expect fans to want to pay for something that they're not really wanting to see. So I like how they take an initiative and trying to like kind of get rid of it.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I think they just need to definitely take reins of it. But what you think, Mike? What do you think about the anti-tanking rules?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I feel like as an NBA fan, from our type of perspective, if you're naturally bad, we just going you feel me? We gonna embrace that more than just tanking. You feel me? You see what I mean? Like if you're
Yeah.
naturally bad, you feel me? If for example, if you Utah and y'all going against the Bulls, we expect y'all to win that game, bro. Like, you feel me? Not sit the whole starting five. Like, we not doing that. Like that don't it like that's not good basketball to me. I want
Mm-hmm.
to see good bump a little bit. You feel me? I want them to go out there and still fight for it. So as a basketball fan, from my perspective, is like, yeah, if it ain't naturally bad, like if your team not naturally bad at basketball, we not doing that, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. Like everybody can be fighting for a spot, but then we tanking so early. Like, why is it so like
Yeah, we
we
seen
was
teams tanking
we
before
was
the
Ridiculous.
All
tank
Star.
we right? I about to say we was tanking before the All Star break. Like, what is we doing? Like, what's like, huh?
And I like how you
That
brought up Utah because Utah is one of those teams where they have
yeah,
legit players that like we
yeah.
know
They
Utah.
can
They
hoop.
win games,
Yeah, they
bro.
can
Like,
hoop.
yeah,
They can
they can
hoop.
hoop over there. Like when Lowry, Keontae play, like they be hooping so well that they have to sit them guys because like they
Yeah.
gonna win them games. That's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then you
Initial.
go get Jaren Jackson Jr. and then he kill his first couple games. You killing too much, bro. You got to sit down. Like how that even sound? You know what I'm saying? Like that don't even make sense to me. Like it just don't make sense to me, bro.
uh, hey, Avon, your initial thoughts.
I like that the NBA is trying to like do something to stop this tanking, like because I think it's at an all-time low. Some of the things that I saw up there, I didn't agree on, and I hope they can like find a way that kind of mitigates it, but don't ruin the product. You feel me? But I hope that they find a way to stop the egregious tanking. Like everybody's going out with season-ending surgeries, and like we know these guys not really hurt. You feel me? Like Mike said, we want to see good bump. You feel me? So as long as guys out there hooping, and if they're bad, they're bad. You feel me? That's okay. I just don't want the NBA to more rules and try to change the game up more in the worst way possible, and then look down the line to where it's like, ah, damn, we made this rule 5 years ago, but now in the grand scheme of things, wasn't the right direction. You feel me? But I do
Mm-hmm.
like that they're trying to hit it.
Speaking of the rules, Jay, did you want to did you want to read off some of the rules for us that you seen?
Yeah, yeah. So the first one, and this is really the only one that I truly like, loved and thought that it wouldn't affect too much when it comes to like ruining the NBA. I feel like this
Hmm.
was the safest one, and that's first round draft picks can be protected only for the top four or for the top 15. Right now, you can throw so many different protections on it. If it's between 5 and 6, it goes to this team. If it's between 9 and 10, it goes to another team.
Hmm.
And so just simplifying those protections, and not giving teams as much wiggle room to be able to move around with these draft picks year to year. I think that'll definitely help. The next one, we got lottery odds freeze at the deadline, and basically, so whatever your odds are up to, the deadline is going to be the same at the end of the season, no matter whether you improve or not, or uh, get worse. It's going to be the same way regardless.
Before you go
Um,
to the next one, that speak to your point though, Mike. With that rule, that will cause people to tank as early as possible. Then
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because if your lottery odds stop before the All Star break, right at the All Star break, it's gonna turn teams into pure tanking teams on week one. You feel me?
I I feel like we gonna see it next year. Somebody gonna try it, and it ain't gonna go well. That's
they
how I honestly
they
feel.
might
I
get
feel like
fined off rip.
somebody next year off back. Like, hold on, he just dropped 38. What is he doing on the bench now? like, like you know how these coaches is, bro. Like, just like how Dennis was just said, like Jared Jackson came over there hooping. Ain't nobody expect that. Yeah, go ahead and take a seat right next by me, bro. Like, we ain't doing that. Like, you see what I mean? So it's like it's certain people like you gonna have to play it off very well. And like everybody ain't just getting off though. That's my thing. So it's like, is you gonna bench them after having a 1 or 2 good games? Is that really smart? How you know that's his rhythm? How you know he really like that?
Facts.
Go ahead, go on to the next one, Mike. Jay. My bad.
yeah. We got no longer allowing a team to pick in the top four in consecutive years, and
Ooh-wee.
or after consecutive bottom three finishes. So that would be a big one. We got a couple
Yeah,
teams that's in the lottery, back. Well, forget the lottery in the bottom three, back to back years. So that would definitely affect that as well.
Yeah.
yeah. That's one of the rules I kind of hate, just because, like, say for example, Washington before this season when they got Trey Young and AD and the young talent they have, it weren't good. Gee, so like we were being punished for not being a marketable like or destination for guys, and if we consistently bad, but we trying to build our way through the lottery like we have to, we don't have that like opportunity to do so. You feel me?
I don't know. I'm not
Absolutely.
jacking it because the teams that's in that mug for if you in that mug consecutive years, it's a lot of times it be because of their fault. They just be horrible GMs. Like I know that some of them
That's
be
true.
small team markets, but they really be messing up, and there should be a penalty on your and a reflection of your record, and you shouldn't get rewarded for being horrible at your job, in my opinion. So
I
Uh,
agree with both. Not gonna lie. But my thing is, when you were the Wizards for Von Case, we have in the last 4 years, our star player was 3 different people. You see what I mean? Like we had Jordan Poole, then we had CJ. You feel me? Like I started like now we got Trey, and well we don't even got Trey yet. Right now we got Alex R. So like you see what I'm saying? Like we
and
just keep on. So I can see where both of y'all coming from
I
for
was gonna
real,
say,
for
but
real.
them terrible GM moves, them just bad moves. Why is we picking up Jordan Poole to be our star? Why is we going CJ McCollum at 36, 35? We're
That's
like, what are
true.
we
But
doing?
say
And
say
then you get Chris
say
Middleton on top of CJ. What are we doing?
say
No, you
say
right. You you
say the Wizards don't say the Wizards tank so bad and they end up getting the AJ before, like say they didn't have Trey Young
Mhm.
or AD, but they end up getting an AJ or a DP, and these guys don't pan out. And this was supposed to be our generational talent that we kind of harped on being bad about. So we're punished because this guy who was touted as the number one pick in the league, we And paying out. That's
Yeah,
crazy a little bit.
that's how the draft goes. That's literally what the draft is. It's always a roll of
That's
the
why
dice.
we're gonna be bad
That's no
again
different.
next
Then you're
season
gonna be
to
bad
get the
again.
next
I'm not
AJ.
finna reward you for making bad GM moves and then give you Tyrant Stokes after I just gave you AJ. I'm not finna do that for you just because you didn't pick the right one. Like that's just what the draft lottery is, you know. But what's the next
To that
one we
point
got?
though, I was about to say one last thing to that point though, Reese. Why would I reward it? The reward for being good and making good GM moves is winning a chip. Why would I reward teams that's competing for chips? You know what I mean? With higher picks, because if you not allowing a team top four to pick top four in the consecutive years, you're moving somebody up. So if I'm moving
Yeah,
teams that were better up, like why am I?
Is
You
it
know what I mean?
is it bad to move a team like the Heat up and pull the Wizards down if the Wizards keep fucking up? Like the Heat them like they on the fringe, they a fringe team, a fringe playoff team. They might be the next team up in the lottery odds if they lose like a play-in or something like that. That's not bad. I don't think. I don't think that's like they just as ass as the next team. They not a contender. They just good enough to be better than a 12 seed. They're better than a 12 seed, but they're not a contender. They deserve
but
some picks too.
that goes back to your GM point. You feel me? That's bad GM. We stand in the same spot for consecutive years to where we're just middle of the pack everywhere. Can we pick a direction like we wanted
Yeah,
Chicago to do? Like, can we get rid of these stars, or can we try to
that's a
build
hard That's a
like
hard
a
spot to
team
be
around
in.
them?
Yeah, that's a hard
Yeah,
spot to
Yeah,
be
this
in.
a hard topic. I ain't gonna lie, this a hard topic, y'all.
it
Yeah,
is.
cause
I
that's a
like
hard
it
spot
though.
to
I
be
like
in.
it.
Like you might have to move, like you got to move off pieces, but it's like you move off pieces, then you right back in rebuild mode. Now you down there with the 12 team. Like so, it's like it's like that's a rough spot. But what's the next one, Jay? What we got?
The next one, it actually kind of concerns you, Reese. Teams can't pick in the top four the year after making the conference final. So we know one of your teams
Mm, shoot.
is
The
the
Pacers,
Pacers.
yeah, and they tanking right now, and they just made the final. So if these rules were in place, they wouldn't even be able to get a top pick next year, regardless. I'm not 100% mad at that. I feel like in my head, that's how it should automatically have been, anyways, like to a certain degree. But unless you lose people in free agency, I think it should be an exception. Like if you lose your max contract players in free agency or something, it's like, what I mean? But if you bring it back the same roster that just made the finals, you bring it back the same exact roster. Why would I reward you versus a team that can't even make the playoffs? That's my opinion, though.
Yeah, but with that rule,
Hmm.
also it kind of like everything OKC did kind of like goes down the drain because we kind of got them making probably the conference finals for the next few years. Maybe they just won the finals last year, so it's like everything they did with getting all these draft picks and stuff. Now, can they even use those draft picks that they just kind of
yeah.
worked for, or what I'm saying, the GM did his job the correct way to get all those draft picks? Can they use those now that they're this good? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it
I
is
was just
it
gonna
is like
ask.
that going to affect them or no?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. I'm gonna say based on the context, the way I read it, it sounds like they wouldn't be able to use their own pick. So if like the OKC is bad next year, they number one seed this year. If they're tanking next year, they wouldn't be able to use their own pick as a top four. But in the OKC case, we got multiple other teams' picks. Our picks are usually outside of the lottery to begin with. That's when we get our players like the Uzman Jangs and all those players. But out inside the lottery, a lot of our picks come from other teams. So I don't know if that affects them. That's a great question because that'd be
Yeah,
fucked up if you do a good GM move. I somehow finessed the Wizards with that Russ trade and got some picks out of it, and what I mean, I get they pick. What happens? Like I can't pick my top four just because I traded for them for a future draft stock.
Down the line,
Yeah.
the rules change now. It's like, what can I do
Yeah.
now?
And what can I do now? You're gonna have to find a way to compensate teams if you take away these picks like that. What's the next one you got
yeah.
for us though, Jay?
We have lottery odds are allocated based on 2-year records. So instead of the Nets being the worst team in NBA this year hypothetically, but they were the best team last year, their record wouldn't be based off of just this year. They'd be a middle of the team type of draft position just because what they were previously. So that's an interesting one for sure. That could shake things up definitely.
Yeah.
That that
That's
that'll
one.
slow.
That's one more I'm on the fence about, just because teams who's naturally bad tend to be bad like consecutive years. But you do have those times where it's like a Brooklyn situation where we had KD, Kyrie, and James Harden,
I could do you
but
one
then
better.
all our guys left. So now we are the worst team in the league. So it's like you can't have exemptions on everything. That's when I kind of like look more into it and be okay with, honestly.
I don't know. This probably not the best example, but I will say that if that takes place, that will slow up rebuild mode. Like for teams like the Pistons, where they went from having the worst record we ever seen to now, the very next season, we like, damn, this is a playoff team, all rip. But if you flip them, say they had a great year, then they lose, like similar to the Pacers is now, and then they come back the next year, losing again. Like I don't understand how that would go. Like I don't understand how you gonna I'm
That would
not
make their
disrespect.
odds like so hard
You're
to
right, because if
gauge.
they're up and down, if they championship
Yeah,
contender, trash. Then they back to mid pack playoff team, trash. Like you know what I mean? Like the Heat, that's another great team to bring up. The Heat made the finals as a 7 or 8 seed. What does that do to them? You know what I mean? Like they are in the middle of the pack, but they can make playoff runs. It's gonna look weird. So
yeah,
Yeah. I think that's the biggest issue with that one is just too much variance depending on who winning first and losing first, or who mid-team pack before they become garbage. So yeah. Next one up though, we have a lottery extended to include all play-in teams. So uh, and this includes 7 and 8 seed, not just the ninth and 10th. So all of those teams will be included into those lottery odds when they throw in as many um, of the ping pong balls in there to see who gonna get the top pick. Those will all extend to the playing teams.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would
I
be
think
like
I
I
an
like
think
it
award
for if
for
it was 9 and 10 only.
that's exactly and that's what I was gonna say, Vaughn. Because like teams that's like the 7th seed or 8th seed, like we see like teams like the Warriors. That mean the Warriors would have them that got one of these top picks. Warriors would
Yeah,
have
they got
fuck
a
around.
chance. Yeah,
In the
They would have
West,
messed
it's real
around.
tight over there. So
Yeah.
teams like you said, like the Warriors, shit, like even the
But
Lakers or the Timberwolves, somebody can fall maybe in that range just because
yeah,
how tight it is out west.
Yeah.
So it's like you giving one of those good teams in the West like a lottery pick,
To
essentially. You know
to
what I'm
your
saying?
yeah,
point, we
So
seen the
but
Lakers.
Reese,
Oh, what you was gonna say, Mike?
I was about to say to your point earlier, when like sometimes they might just be one piece away and it might be that draft pick. Like you
Hmm.
feel me? Like
Yeah.
that's why I like it honestly. Like it could just be something as little as that. Like they probably just need what if they fifth pick? They ain't even gotta be, you feel me, top three. But if they the fifth pick and they just need that one piece and they make the right decision, like
And
everybody, well, of course, well, this next draft class is loaded, but everybody not gonna be able to do that, you know?
yeah, that would be like
Just
something.
make that one piece thing. Yeah.
That would be something we'll see with like the Lakers. Say if the Lakers, when they was in the playing game that one year, and they still had Bron and AD. Imagine they get a pick, even though they made a deep playoff run that same year. Like
they
they
get
get
the
yeah,
first pick
man, they
to
get
go
the
with
first
Bron and
pick.
AD. I ain't gonna
That's
lie. I
just
feel like a lot of these like changes is really only gonna affect like the weaker teams in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like teams like
mm,
we mentioned, like if they do like that last one where it extends to the playing teams, like those teams aren't like terrible, but they aren't good. So like that can take them to another level. So I feel like the weaker teams are gonna be ones that's really like kind of losing with most of these new changes that they trying to implement at least. Like
yeah.
yeah.
mhm. What's
Right.
the last one, Jay?
That's-
Last one we have is just completely flatten the odds for all lottery teams. So they all got the same odds to get, pick one all the way to the end of the lottery, which I know,
No,
I know we can all agree
Yeah,
that
I
that's
ain't
Yeah.
know that.
I don't like
Yeah,
that.
I
no,
didn't
but
know that was
That's
y'all
probably
y'all
the
that
worst
ain't
one they
that
gotta
ain't
pick.
it.
that'd be funny as hell. Because like imagine the
imagine.
team with the OK like the OKC, we got the Clippers pick because the Clippers be they might be a playing team and then they in the lottery and then you feel me and it's flattened odds and
Yeah,
then now the OKC got the
It
number one
already
pick.
kind of got like flattened odds right now, or no though?
I think
Because
They
it's
how
flat
did
in
top
go
four, if I'm not
oh,
mistaken.
okay?
top four,
Because
yeah.
there's no way Dallas should have got
That's
Yeah, they
exactly
jumped up
what
10
happened with
spots.
Dallas.
true.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
crazy because teams like Washington, like man, we just was terrible all year for Dallas to come through and get the first pick. It's like that's crazy. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some interesting news, man. We gonna see what they end up choosing because these are all just like rules that are set in play to be discussed over the summer. We won't know 100% sure if they're gonna do any of these just yet, but at least one of these changes is going to happen, and somebody's not going to be happy.